Alright guys, a quick apology on my behalf, but due to an audio file being corrupted, I had to cut my last Xbox 360 DLC video a little short. So here is the rest of the games and the DLC that could not be added to that previous video.
Hell, it's about time.
Yeah, I know OD Beat Drop has a ton of fans out there, but I'm a dunce and lack the patience for these types of puzzle games. But I say ignore my dumbass as the game is highly rated, so if you do pick it up and enjoy it, then you should beat the store closure and drop £2.69 on its Blaze Blue DLC pack, which includes some pumping new tunes, new skins, and the added feature to compare your scores on a leaderboard.
Nice.
Again, thanks to my lack of brain cells, Meteos Wars was never my cup of tea. But you ruddy lovely viewers are a lot more intelligent than I am, so maybe you will want to treat that intellectual pickle of yours to the planet and galaxy packs for the game. Both of them cost £2.98 and each adds many more planetary strategic puzzle-based action to the game's multiplayer offering.
Nice.
If you like defending dungeons, then Dungeon Defenders will tickle that armor-plated pickle of yours. But if you've not heard of it, well, essentially it's a hybrid of action RPG and tower defense shenanigans that gels extremely well to make an extremely addictive game that you'll likely lose hours of your life to. But truthfully, the game is at its finest in its co-op mode that can be played locally, so if you can get a few chums together, then you may want to invest in Dungeon Defenders downloadable content. Costing $3.19 each, you can dungeon defend for another 100 hours by nabbing the Mistamere Forest and the various chapters of the quest for the Lost Eternal Shards. But if that's too costly, then Dungeon Defenders Awakened is essentially a remaster of the game, so let's not panic. But if third-person tower defense antics ain't your bag, well then maybe first-person shooting defending of towers may be right up your street. So I present to you Sanctum II. This sci-fi themed FPS is great and the perfect blend of all-out bullet-flying action and strategic tower placement that culminates in a Horde-style ruddy good time featuring lore, minigames, and secret areas that'll appease the Helldivers 2 crowd.
I'm doing my part.
And who would have thunk it that this absolute gem of a game came from the same peeps that gave us Goat Simulator. Anyways, enough gushing. If you can sort out some multiplayer fun with any randoms or friends willing to play with you, then be sure to check out its expansion that adds 4 new maps, characters, towers, enemies, and weapons for just a mere £3.99. If you don't have any fruit or knives in your house and haven't lost your Kinect in a bundle of random wires like I have, but fancy slicing up some fruit, well then you should probably point your old melon towards Fruit Ninja Connect. Yes, it is the hyper-addictive mobile game Fruit Ninja, but instead of swiping and tapping, you flail your arms around like a fecking idiot. Jokes aside, it's good fun and will distract the kids long enough so you can have a cold one in peace. But if one can of the golden nectar isn't enough, then you can keep your kids karate chopping thin air by getting the game's DLC. There's a ton of it, so I'm not going to go through it all, but each pack costs £1.29 and includes more varied things to chop your way through. If you want to take your space invading to the ruddy extreme, then you're in luck, as Space Invaders Extreme is the pixelated tits that enhances and honors what made the classic game one of the greats in the first place, so you'd be a ruddy fool not to grab the DLC that contains 3 new stages, new enemies, and free bosses. Not only that though, but this expansion pack also adds the original game and its sequel, all for the small investment of £1.99. Another Kinect game that'll appease the younger or more casual gamer is the Wrecketeer, a super fun castle-destroying, point-racking shenanigans-based game that in typical Kinect fashion is kinda let down by its clunky control scheme. But with a few beers and some mates round, the game can still be a blast. Think of it as a 3D motion-based Angry Birds and you'll get the idea. I'd probably wait to see if the game goes on sale, but if you already own it, then maybe think about slinging yourself over to its 2 additional map packs that'll each cost you £1.29. Since first laying my adolescent hands on Total Carnage, I've always had a love for top-down twin-stick shooters. Yeah, I'm old, I know, but simple mind equals simple pleasure, and that's exactly what you get with Renegade Ops, a simple yet explosively bombastic good fecking time. But where Renegade Ops differs ever so slightly is this isn't a boots-on-the-ground affair, but instead has you sitting behind the wheel of some death-delivering vehicles, driving round large levels, blowing shit up, rescuing the odd hostage, and then blowing more shit up, and what can I say, it's awesome. Renegade Ops DLC consists of the Cold Strike campaign that adds a new story featuring 3 new levels to blast through and will cost you £3.39. The Reinforcement Pack is only $1.99 and adds 2 new characters with their own vehicles and special abilities. Bosh. Right, here are a few games that I don't really have any opinion on, but they may tickle your pickle, and as they have DLC, I best give them a shout out. Wits and Wages has DLC that adds more questions to its trivia-based shenanigans and will cost you £2.69. Things on Wheels is a piss poor game but does have some DLC, so I best mention its free DLC packs that adds new content like cars and tracks to the lackluster racing affair. Connect Party is free, but the base game is pretty bare bones, but if you want to truly party Connect style, well, you can add a variety of new mini games for the small price of 65p each, or you could save yourself some dollar and just purchase the full unlock pack for $7.99 instead. Once you get your head round Wrecked Revenge Revisited's camera angles, the game can be a destructively good time, especially when playing with a friend. So you should check out its Highway to Hell DLC that adds in a wealth of new content for both its single and multiplayer modes. Highway to Hell will cost you £3.39. Another fun multiplayer racer is TNT Racers. Both of the DLC packs available for the game add new challenges, tracks and cars, and are only $1.99 each. One of the few games my mother actually plays is Arkanoid. You basically just bounce a ball into blocks over and over. And I'm not knocking my mum's taste in games. The game can really be simple, addictive fun. So if that doesn't sound too dull to you, then you'll be happy to know that the game has 2 add-on packs that both add plenty of more brick-smashing, ball-bouncing shenanigans for you to enjoy for the low cost of $1.99 each. I actually liked the Section 8 games. They did that whole drop onto any area of the map thingamajig before Battle Royales took over the gaming world. Not sure if the servers are still up and running, but if they are, well then Section 8 Prejudice has 2 map packs costing $1.99 each that you may want to launch yourself over to. Vigilante 8 is another game that is oh hella affordable, not to mention that it's a vehicular smashing and bashing oh hella ruddy good time. So, for how little the game will cost you, you'd be a fool not to splash a few extra pennies to get its DLC while you're at it. For just a mere £1.29, you can download the High Octane pack that contains 3 new cars and 2 new arenas to burn some rubber in. Whether you prefer your wriggly multiplayer perfection in 3D or the classic 2D shenanigans the series is known for, then the Xbox Store has got you ruddy covered. But for all you 3-dimensional Worm fans, you can buy yourself Worms Ultimate Mayhem for just £1.68, leaving you plenty of change to get its single player and multiplayer expansion packs, as well as a customizable pack so you can dress your oddball pink critters however you fancy. The single-player expansion adds a wealth of new missions and modes to the solo experience, and the multiplayer pack adds new levels, and of course the cosmetic pack does what it says on the ruddy tin. Each pack is currently sitting at £3.39. The Naughty Bear games could be classed as hidden gems, but in my drunken opinion they are more like very, very guilty pleasures. Imagine Agent 47 as a pissed off teddy bear who decides to off lots of other stuffed cuddly toys due to not being invited to a birthday party, and well, that's what Naughty Bear is. You sneak around, try not to get caught, and inventively murder all that wronged you, while occasionally changing outfits to blend in. So So if that has piqued the interest of and tickled your fluffy pickle, well then you should give the digital-only Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise a try. As I've got to say, once you've endured the first few levels, upgraded your character and got to grips with how the stealthy, planning-based gameplay works, well then Panic in Paradise is a sadistic if flawed treat. And if you want to double down on the naughty, then there's a whole boatload of DLC to take a look at. Most are various weapons and costumes for your character based on famous horror characters, but none are game changers, just fun little goofs. Well, that is unless you decide to buy the Naughty Unlocks DLC, which basically just makes the game pointless as it unlocks everything for you. So if you're a lazy bastard, then you have the option to be even lazier.
Yes.
And lastly, we have Exit and its sequel Exit 2. Barely anyone talks about these titles anymore, which is a ruddy shame, as both the Exit games are smart, speedy, strategical treats that will really test your old noggin as you zip around, solving puzzles, grabbing survivors, then dashing your way to the exit, all while a timer rapidly ticks down. It's exhilarating stuff and hyper-challenging, yet utterly rewarding. Both games are jam-packed full of levels, but if you've mastered the strategy of the Exit, then good news, as hidden away on the 360 store are even more stages for you to escape from. And even better, the 2 DLC packs for Exit 1 are absolutely free, but the DLC for Exit 2 that adds a whopping 30 new stages is £1.69 and well worth it. Right, I think that's enough for now. Sorry this was a short one and a little bit rushed, but as I said, I had an audio file corrupt and I kind of lost the passion for this video. If you did like it, leave a like. If you want to talk to me, leave a comment. But more importantly, as always, just stay tipsy, guys.